Hi, and welcome to the Mezzo Tint Filter Challenge video tutorial. Here is the layout that I made for this challenge. And you can see the Mezzo Tint applied here and in this image here and in this image back here. I wanted to understand better what Mezzo Tint was, and so I went looking on the internet, because if we understand what it is in real life, like we easily understand what a chalk drawing is, so if we understand what Mezzo Tint in real life is, we can understand a little bit better how to utilize this filter. So I found here on Wikipedia about Mezzo Tint. It says Mezzo Tint is a printmaking process by the intaglio family, technically a dry point method, and it goes on. There are print methods such as hatching or cross hatching or stipple, but Mezzo Tint achieves tonality by roughening the plate with thousands of little dots made by a metal tool with small teeth, called a rocker. Now you'll notice that most of the Mezzo Tint that you see examples of on the internet are all in sepia tone, like this one, or I bet you'll kind of recognize Mezzo Tint once you start looking at it. For instance, this one here, and you can kind of see the texture on this. It's really kind of cool. I found this other website called Jim Hubman, and so you can look him up. It's got a Kalkinsk.com. I would just Google it, and Google Mezzo Tint Hubman, and I bet you'll come up with it. This is really a really great resource, and really helped me to understand it better. It shows what Mezzo Tint is here, and it's actually, he's pretty funny when he writes. It shows what a relief printing is, and here is your block with a raised area, and you put your paper down, and as your paper comes down on the rubber, kind of like a rubber stamp, that's what relief printing is. And here's stencil printing. We're familiar with that. But intaglio, can't say it, is this, where you have just a copper plate that has a whole bunch of holes in it, and the ink has been put into the holes, and you put your paper on there and roll a roller over it. So it's a little bit different from this being rubber, because this is metal, and this has raised areas on the block, and this one actually has engraved spots down into the piece of metal. So that's kind of the difference. The metal is engraved, and the surfaces are some are higher and lower than the other surfaces. And I was reading the ones that are not as deep are kind of smoother, and so a Mezzo Tint gives you the feeling of a painting. Where did I read that? Right here I read that. By varying the degree of smoothing, mid-tones between black and white can be created, hence the name Mezzo Tinto, which is Italian for half-tone or half-painted. And so this is a image that looks half painted. It looks half printed and half painted. You go on down here, and he explains etching, engraving, Mezzo Tint. But this is the interesting part. You immediately see here, you can tell this is Mezzo Tint as you begin to look at it. he gives an example of how you can learn to do Mezzo Tint printing yourself, and you're going to be amazed at how difficult this is. He's got a piece of copper plate here, and what he uses is this chisel, and you can see him making straight lines. You can see them here. He talks about how to rock it. Not like the rocker Mick Jagger, but the tool is called a rocker, and he's rocking it back and forth to make that. And remember this when we get into the filter tutorial. And you can see then he has another tool here which makes a lot of the definition of the shape. Can you imagine how people hand draw with a paintbrush, how much more difficult it is to make something like this on a piece of copper by kind of scraping and engraving. And then he puts the ink on it, and he kind of wipes it off to get the ink down in the plate so that it's not on the surface of the plate, and prints it, and you can see what it looks like there. So go visit this site. It really gives you an idea of what Mezzo Tint is supposed to look like. And so here is a Mezzo Tint I just did playing around. Here is my original photo. I thought an old car would work. Now I did not make this black and white, but maybe we can do that this time. I'm going to Control J and go to the Enhance, convert to black and white. Now I'm not going to change any settings. Let's just use this default because I'm just playing. Now let's just go run the Mezzo Tint filter. It's under the Pixelate group. And you see it does not open up the filter gallery. This one just opens up this little box here. And your choices are your fine dots, medium dots, grainy dots, coarse dots, short lines, medium lines, long lines, short strokes, medium strokes, and long strokes. So you have a lot of choices here. That looks just very grainy, the fine dots. But if you go through here, remember what the guy was doing with the rocker and how it was making the lines. That would be your short, medium, long, your short strokes, all of these at the bottom. And then when he was using that little fine tool, that would be your dots. And what happens when you just pick one of these and apply the filter, it applies it to the entire photo. And so that doesn't give at all anything like what the Mezzo Tint filter or what the Mezzo Tint print process is all about. That just, it doesn't cut it. You'll remember when you were looking at the Mezzo Tint, he used different techniques for different areas. You know, back here he's got more of the lines, and you know, in other areas he has more of the dots. And so I'm going to hit undo, and I only did 2 areas, but I think the key to using this filter is to either just make a selection or actually select a part of your image and put it on a new layer. And so I used the quick selection tool earlier, but I'm not going to do that now. To make the video faster, I've got my selection, and I just selected everything outside. Actually, look, I missed part of it. Let's get this up in here. I'll add that. So you just make I selected all of the parking lot, and just Control J, and I put that on a new layer, and I ran the filter on it. Now I do know, I want to mention that I saw that in the full version of Photoshop they actually have more options with this, and I think some of it has to do with, I think it was opacity or blending modes. But for this, I'm going to choose some medium dots, and you can see it's doesn't allow me to have a very good view. I'm kind of stuck in the preview. When I hold down my Alt key, I can hit reset. But anyway, I want to click OK. And you can see it just put that really grainy texture all over the background. And I chose that because I kind of wanted to cover up that parking lot busy-like. And I think I actually went and did a soft light because I liked how it brought out, like it had a grainy area on right below the vehicle and went out to where it wasn't grainy at all up here. Kind of liked what that did. And then let's select all of the car area. I'm going to go back to the car layer and Control J to put that on its own layer. And now I'm going to apply the filter to this. And this time I decided just to do one of the strokes. I really don't remember what I did. Medium lines, short lines. Let's try short lines this time. And you can see how it applied it to the car there and made that look really very pretty cool. And I don't remember, oh, there's what I did. Color dodge looks pretty cool. Let's see what I used up here on this one. On this one I used actually the overlay. Go through your blending modes, see how you can blend it down with the original one to make it look pretty cool. What's the overlay do? Oh, the overlay keeps the car dark. And so I might apply a different one maybe to the wheel. You know, I don't have very many sections in my photo. And let's see what multiply does. There, multiply kind of makes it cool too. I actually liked the color dodge. I don't know how made it kind of artistic, but that's what you want to do, is to make sure you select different areas, because that's what the engraver would have done. He would have applied different types of chiseling, engraving, whatever it is, into the copper plate for different areas of his photo. So here is though what I did with mine. Here's a layout I made, and I did this some time ago. And I'm going to go ahead, I have an original photo here, and I'm going to take that all off so you can see. I got some text going on here too. What I did with mine was I took this photo here, and you see I have it down here in the original layer, and then I photocopied it, or I copied the layer to practice. But what I did was this was actually taken at night, this photo, and so if you zoom in, you can see my son's right there. And I think I have another son in here somewhere. He's hiding right back there. So it really wasn't a very good photo, but it was very grainy because it was taken at night, and by the time I tried to fix it, it had all this stuff in it anyway. And so to make it fun, I took this original photo and I applied the Mezzo Tint to it in different ways. Here I made it black and white. It looks like I used the really long strokes. And then I'm not sure what I did here. It says normal, but it looks like I probably, after I applied You can see it's got just the dots, the graininess. After I applied that, it looks like I did a Control-I to invert this layer. And this one just had some of the grainy stuff in it. So I took the same photo to make a background with it and applied the Mezzo Tint to each one a little bit differently. And then you bring back all your text, and there's what happened. That's how I got my layout. And so that's an idea for you. You can take one photo and make a whole background out of it just by using the filter in different ways. So I hope you've learned a little bit about this filter and how to utilize it as it would have been realistically used. As I said, most of the time it's used in black and white, but like for mine here, I leave it in color because I like that red wheel, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But because when this printing process was done, they really didn't have color ink, I'm imagining. They mostly did it in black and white back in the 1700s and 1800s when this method was used. It works really well on your black and whites too. Anyway, I look forward to seeing what you can do. Let's get creative and yeah, have a lot of fun.